That's what I meant. And then Axe will go back to the jungle later and start clearing some stacks out if he doesn't have a good time.
Yeah, if Axe struggles in the offlane, it's jungle, your Blink Dagger. But I imagine IG may be hoping to win that offlane with an Axe Undying lane. Question is, if that's going to be the length there for IG, you don't want to give, like, you don't want to send Bristleback solo against Queen of Pain. That's this may even be a Bristleback.
Well, they could dual lane it, maybe.
Yeah, this is Bristle going mid. Earthshaker in the offlane now with a support Witch Doctor. And again, if this is a Queen of Pain versus Earthshaker, that's a lane where IG are going to go greedy with their lanes if they have an Axe Undying. And Queen of Pain, a solo safe lane, is going to destroy an Earthshaker. Earthshaker gets no CS in that matchup, and that's where having a 1v1 lane where it's that one-sided means you're getting a lot out of the laning stage, which is what I think IG need to do, because mid-game their team fight is lackluster.
Yeah, they are really the definition of a snowball lineup here. This is a team that, if they get ahead, can just go out of control, bonkers all over LGD. The dunks to fly out, you can toss in the Axe for a call. Some really cool synergy, and, well, the Axe is a great hero to protect the tombstone. Heroes try to jump on it and focus it down. You call them, you drag their attention away, and all the while the Wisp is healing him up, keeping the team fight going. So you could definitely see the synergy here with IG. It is a very type of draft, and not something I think any team has really shown just yet at the International 5. So I'm excited, gods. Let's see how it's going to turn out. LGD on the Dire. They are the undefeated team here over in Group A, looking very scary after day one. And let's see if IG can take them down a peg. We'll start with IG, running through the lineups. You've got Faith rushing the bottle, playing the IO. We'll have Luo handling the Axer. Burning on the Tiny. Looks like he starts with an early Magic Stick, anticipating the Bristle mid, since maybe is the one playing it. Chuan will be the Undying. Already taking a point in decay here, and it's 4:30. Last but not least, you can see he's going side lane from the rate of protection. He'll be on the Queen of Pain. Okay. And then over on LGD, we've got Yao, your Earthshaker, maybe the Bristleback, likely headed mid, as you mentioned. Chow8, the Witch Doctor, MMY, the Dazzle. So they've got a lot of defensive heroes on this squad, and then rounding things out will be Sylar playing the Gyrocopter.
Defensive heroes, but heroes also with a lot of firepower in the laning stage. So IG may just be abandoning the idea of having Axe Undying in the offlane, because it's two melee heroes against a Dazzle Witch Doctor. And the Dazzle versus Axe matchup is interesting. I mean, a lot of people just go to, oh, you can Culling Blade through Grave, Axe is a great counter to Dazzle, but laning stage-wise, Shadow Wave destroys Axe. Weave is a great way of just negating a lot of his damage coming out from counter helix. I would actually say, like, Dazzle's a fine pick against Axe. He has so many good ways of actually dealing with the Axe, apart from the fact that Grave isn't really something you can rely on in a fight, but outside of that, all of Dazzle's spells match up great against Axe, so they're actually going to mix up their lanes and just do an off-lane solo Queen of Pain. Ferrari 430 is just going to be looking to get as much XP out of this lane as possible, but he's going to have a bit of a rough time, I imagine.
Maybe they dual lane it with Chuan. Chuan does appear to be trotting towards top, so not a solo in the end. He'll get a little support here, and I kind of think you have to do this. Undying is just not a roaming support. This is a hero that needs to be in a lane, slowly chipping heroes down early, and see this early harass coming out from Burning. Already the bottle picked up by Faith, who got his precious bounty run off the bat. Quickly looking at the wards here, we do see an interesting ward off in the jungle, which will block the creep spawn. And you know, they may not quite have the dominant 1v1 of a Queen of Pain versus Earthshaker gods, but they still get an Axe on Earthshaker, and that is still a lane that IG are going to win 1v1. Maybe you don't keep him out of experience range as much, but if Yao isn't careful and he gets called with a couple of creeps and a few lucky spins, he can easily give up a first blood here. And
a lot of people kind of talk about, like, when IG have done well, and so much of that has kind of revolved around Lua. When he's had a good performance, they tend to win games.
430, he's skilled Shadow Strike. This is trouble for him. Oh, actually just got his level 2. Oh, he is playing it close, man, but he's going to be forced to use a salve. Good news is he came to the lane with 8 tangos and a salve, so he was expecting a lot of harass, and should be okay. Still an early exchange going a bit in the favor of LGD, but got to be careful here. That's 3 decay stacks on Chuan. He hits level 2, gets the tombstone, and he's got too many. That's going to be an instant dive coming out from him.
Yeah, so this was kind of the initial plan for LGD. We're going to try and lane up top if they dual lane us, maybe with like the Axe Undying. It's going to be a Queen of Pain Undying. So Witch Doctor starts mid when they see the Queen of Pain solo, and as soon as they see it being a dual lane, they rotate both supports to deal with this, to make sure that they're not going to be able to abuse this kind of 2v2 laning set with an Undying. They want to make sure they have that third hero, that secondary support, to give that little bit of extra damage. Deal with a Tombstone, just group focus fire it down if it does get dropped, and just make sure they don't get overwhelmed by decay stacks.
The X factor could really be Faith coming top as well. And we don't normally see a whole lot of ganking out Wisp players early, but if he has the opening and he shows up with a heal and a tether, that can really turn the lane, because you've already got to worry about underestimate how difficult the Undying is to kill him. I bring this up because he's got an Invis rune bottled right now, and he actually goes towards bottom where Luo is busy bringing the pain onto Yao, forced to salve early. Doesn't end up dying just yet, but with the Invis, this was not spotted by the Dire side. They can just tower dive, go for a kill on Yao. Doesn't even have Fissure mana right now, but Faith may be thinking it's too long of a rotation and he's not going to bother. Let's see. He rotates back the other way. And
there's a
now he
TP
heads back
on Dazzle, so there's a potential for a TP Grave as well as just a level 2 Shadow Wave, so it's
just some stacking for now.
Yeah, I think they probably they've definitely scattered out the TP, and probably the words come in from the top IG lane that, hey, look, there's a TP on Dazzle. If you go diving on the Earthshaker, there'll be a TP in, so it's at that point just a high risk, likely to be turned around gank that they're not going to go for. If no one has a TP, maybe it's a different story and they go for it.
Yeah, he started with the TP from level 1, so something you'll see a lot from Dazzle players nowadays. One of the big benefits of the heroes, if you need to counter gank, you have that option as they go mid lane onto maybe. They get the dunk off, but maybe just turns. He's level 5 already, and they really can't fight against this. They'll have to back off, just use the tether to heal back up. Not able to combo a Bristle back down at this stage. Meanwhile, top lane, you can see the zoning potential of LGD's two supports. Very high range on both of these and good base damage. Forcing 430, as well as Tronbeck, not really getting that much out of this dual lane, all things considered. They are occupying 3 heroes, but still MMY getting his levels, and Shao8 also already level 3. They've been able to pull the medium camp and get some good experience from that.
Yeah, both mid lane and top lane going really well for LGD. Bristleback just one of the better heroes against the IO Tiny. He's getting great farm. IO Tiny haven't been able to bully him out of the lane. They haven't been able to stop his CS. The one X factor is for IG has got to be the Axe. He's got the safe lane farm. He's going to be looking at a good blink dagger timing. And I guess to some extent, I mean, you talked about IO not normally known for his ganking capabilities, but this game there is a lot of potential to gank for the safe lane, try and kill the Earthshaker, move to the off lane, but Axe's blink is going to be the big tide turner here for IG, because this laning stage is a little lackluster for them.
Oh, the toss back into the tower where the IO is waiting, and now the tether up, trying to keep Burning healthy, but maybe a bit too tanky. Still got stick charges and the bottle. It'll be A-okay. Faith really wanting to die, but that's just simply not going to be enough. They're looking for that extra toss. Didn't have the vision, as it is nighttime now, and can't get the kill in the end.
Yeah. He got a nice like bottle cancel or two there, which is also what he's trying to do, just negate some of that regen, keep the Bristleback low HP, which he actually cancelled, I think, one almost full bottle charge, and then like halfway through a second one. Canceling salve, like this is just constant, like you would, because a key thing here for the Bristleback is you can't be sitting around on half HP, otherwise you die to the combo. You've got to always be full HP when they go on you, and then you're fine. You can survive. You just turn around, throw a bunch of quills at them, and get out of there. But you've got to instantly heal up. He's been constantly bottle crowing, and not just bottle crowing, but bringing himself salves.
He is getting quite a bit of farm in the mid lane. 27 and 4, actually out CSing Burning, but is worth pointing out there's a double stack at the one big camp, as well as the other towards the middle part of the jungle. Not a huge amount of stacks for Tiny IO at this stage. 6 minutes in, you'll normally see at least one quad stack, but Faith been more focused on just supporting Burning in the
Bristle's just been stacking himself. He's got a double stack at Ancients about to become a triple stack, so...
I think it might have been Yao.
No, it was the Bristle. Yeah, he does this. He goes for it on the way to the rune, so again, we'll see. If he gets the stack off, then grabs the rune.
Faith, nothing to tether to. This could be your first blood. Wow. It's an easy beatdown for maybe. Oh, that's not the type of kill you're looking to give away if you're IG.
That's huge. He's just not really reading Bristleback's movements very well there, because that's... I mean, it's not like a common play to go stack those Ancients yourself as a mid on the Dire side, because it doesn't really... I mean, it does time up with getting the bottom rune, but typically you want to go for the top rune, because it's just that little bit closer, but as a Bristle, you want those Ancient stacks, and maybe it says thanks for the freebie kill as well.
it's worrying to see kills being given up just because they haven't stacked the jungle that much here. Again, normally you see multiple camps, 3-4 stacks. They've only got 2 double stacks. So if you're not getting hero kills and you're not stacking the jungle, you're just not getting the mileage out of your tiny IO that you'd like to see.
Yeah, this game quickly looking like it's going to be reliant on the Axe. It's going to come down to his movement, his plays, once he gets the Blink Dagger timing, because the laning stage, which I felt like should have been strong for IG, should have been an area where they could exploit LG, just hasn't worked.
They dropped the Tombstone, looking to dive onto Shao 8, and the tower going to actually focus it down. Potentially, no, the creep's tanking it for now. They turn with the cast, going onto Chuan. Is there any sort of backup from Faith? The tether isn't quite ready yet, but they toss one back. They'll keep him out of harm's way as maybe cleans up the Tombstone. IG just really thwarted in every movement so far, and all the while we see LGD continue to pull ahead in terms of gold, in terms of experience, almost a 1.5k golden experience lead, and that is before they grab their ancients, before they really start making moves of their own around the map.
Yeah, IG look very flat. They kind of need to make something happen in the early game with this draft of theirs, and it's going to just turn into a more passive state of farming. Burning's now gone for his triple stacker at the big camp, which is decent. It'll get him boost up his farm as well as his experience. At this point, he wants levels, because that's what's going to give IG a lot more kill potential. You want that max Abatos combo coming out from Tiny, especially around when Axe gets Blink Dagger. If you don't have that follow-up damage from a Tiny, you're not finding kills.
And they're hunting the Tiny IO. LGD know this type of play. As Faith may get caught here in the jungle. Rocket Barrage, tether away. He almost survived. He didn't have any more regen, or he could have escaped, but he'd already used all the bottle charges. Good news is they got the stacks before before LGD were able to make it there.
That was a really clever rotation from LGD, but like you said, a little bit too late to take those stacks.
They're still going to steal one of them, though. This is not the end of the world, but it's a nice additional influx of gold for LGD, and they're going to play that level 6 for the Wisp, as Yao does cancel his own TP. Bit unfortunate there. It'll allow 430 some free time here at the top lane. Burning doesn't die, though. That's good news for IG, and doesn't look like LGD will get any objectives off of this. No Roshan, no tower, and they were taking Sylar away from some much-needed farm time. The Luo Blake is about to come, gods, and like you said, it really feels that everything is going to hinge on this one.
This game as a whole, it's all about the Axe Blink initiation. He's going to be ganking for Tiny, for Queen of Pain. You've got Sonic Wave up now, so he can either go mid or top, find kills. Either place, there should be a pretty straightforward way to get kills. He's level 6 now, so the Dazzle can't keep in and grab people to save them. This is Luo's time to shine.
Kawaii trying to de-ward. Luo does not like that very much. Get away from my ward, he says. Battle Hunger comes out, he's got the call, and if he gets a couple of spins here, I think even 2 would be enough, but he gets 0.
Yeah, even 1 spin might have been close to enough.
And they're turning on him, but with the Faith Wisp in the background, LGD will think twice and back off.
I mean,
like you said, this is prime gank time. Burning not quite level 9, which is where Tiny really comes into his own, but with an Axe initiation should be enough burst damage to get most heroes. Maybe not the Bristle, but pretty much everyone else should die to the combo.
Yeah, so Luo gets the blink, also picks up the smoke with this to make sure that that first blink gank is successful on a key target. This is very like Bat Rider-esque, where you get that 9 to 10 minute blink dagger, pick up a smoke, pick up a blink, and then make sure you get a kill right away with this.
And he's heading straight on top. The gyrocopter of Sylar is the target, and he gets him with the call. Immediately, they throw everything they've got onto Sylar. He gets dunked immediately, right off the bat. But the Fissure's there. It traps 2 within the cooldown. 430 already used his blink to initiate. He's got a TP out. The Echo connects. They get Luo as the trade, and that's also the blink dagger reveal. Not the cleanest fight. Still, they get a pretty key hero, but I want to point out, maybe has just been farming up a monstrous stack of Ancients this whole time, uncontested. Dare I say it, space created for LGD by that gank. It just takes all the pressure off maybe.
That's just not the result IG wanted whatsoever. The Axe for the gyrocopter trade to me is like an equal trade. And then the Urshika gets the kill, so he gets closer to his blink dagger. The Bristleback, like you say, space created as well, so he's farming ancient stacks. That was not worth it at all. That was a big LGD victory. They're like, well, great, you killed our gyrocopter, but our gyrocopter's in a fine position. This is not a hero who's like looking for a key item timing. He's ready to fight. He's just going to go back to lane, look for some more kills with Rocket Barrage. We saw yesterday the way CDEC played this hero. You just roam around, play aggressive, go for kills. One death doesn't really slow you down.
I want to ask you about the Tiny here, Gods. Is this where you consider just more of a farming build, or do you just go for the early blink and focus entirely on the ganking? Now, there was a period where it was... So first, it was almost always the farming build. So we saw the phase drums and then into an Aghanim Scepter, which was kind of the hybrid build. But for a while, it's been treads and Ags off the bat. And then lately, feels like whenever we see Tiny Wisp, it's just a blink rush after the basic items. But this game, the way it's going, what do you think the build should be here for Burning?
I think you want the Blink Dagger, especially when you're behind. The Blink Dagger just becomes that much more important because kills are really your window back into the game. So I think if you go greedy and just try and outfarm your opponents with an Ag Scepter, it's gonna force IG to play super passively. They're not gonna be able to get much done on the map. They're gonna lose map control. They're gonna be forced to just stack camps and hope that they don't get ganked, and it just lets LGD control everything. So I think they need to try and take some of that control away, pick up a Blinkland Burning, and use it in conjunction with the Axe Blink to go for a lot of kills and play aggressive.
Quan has been playing a bit of catch-up here in the bottom lane for IG. He's now hit level 7, has the max rank Tombstone. And it is worth, I think, talking a bit about the Bristleback versus Undying matchup. Bristleback used to beat the counter, with the Quills killing the zombies instantly every time you spam them. You just never would really get an army up. But even now, with that being removed from the game, he's still so good at focusing the Tombstone because he's very tanky, and his Warpath stacks add up. He can just start right-clicking it, and it dies in short order. So it's going to be up to Chuan to find good positioning for his Tombstone. And frankly, I feel like this just isn't really the way you want to see Undying used. He's just not fighting. He's farming kind of in his own little world, and I'm not sure what else Chuan could do given the way the lanes went, but I think that goes towards the idea of the Blink Dagger, that if you don't get one, not only is the team going to have to play defensively, but some of these heroes really fall off later on. I think the Undying foremost amongst them. Yeah,
Bristleback, I totally agree. Bristleback's still great at dealing with the Undying, and especially when this is like a one-position Bristleback who's 1,000+ net worth ahead of anyone in the game. That's where his damage output and just having all this movement speed, he's not worried about zombies whatsoever. An offlane Bristleback who's like a 3-position hero, yeah, I don't think it's the best way of dealing with an Undying, but this is not a 3-position Bristleback.
And Crimson Guard shuts down the zombies. You still have the slow from the zombies, but they stop doing really any damage at that point if he ever wants to upgrade this Vanguard. We'll see. Burning, he does opt for the Ag, so no Blink Dagger for him. The choice has been made. He was saving quite a bit of gold. He was up to about 1,600, so clearly Burning was contemplating this choice as well, but immediately LGD move on mid. They saw 3 heroes farming the jungle, maybe had vision from the ward, and saw that the axe dropped rather low. Now the question becomes, do IG consider trying to take the fight here? Queen of Pain does have a TP. They have brought 3 heroes top, and waiting very deep within the trees is Yao, who could fissure to initiate. Multiple TPs coming in. 430 needs to blink out soon. No, they'll just let him go. But the tower mid does drop in the end, so no tower for IG, a freebie for LGD. Just getting the better trades around the map thus far and holding a 2k gold lead. Experience has gone back to even, though, so that part is nice for IG.
I'm happy to just TP multiple heroes top without getting kills because, okay, well, we're done pushing mid, now we're going to push top. I like the move IG make. They see that, they immediately TP their heroes bottom, ready to go for a counter push.
And LGD say no. We've got our Earthshaker Blink, and we're going to be the ones who take the fights now.
Undetected, too.
Yao hasn't been scouted yet. Well, Chuan gets eyes on it. The Fissure comes out, only hits on one, but it traps Chuan in the trees. He can't even get off the Tombstone right away. Drop the Tombstone, Chuan. He doesn't even think it's worth it. He's going to fall in the end. The team chose to let him die, and meanwhile, maybe doing his work on the top lane.
I don't think IG can really defend top is the scary thing as well.
They're trying to go on mid now, and this one they should... Oh, actually, there's a glyph here. I wouldn't be surprised if LGD come and defend this, too. They glyph, and they're holding it for now, but I think the TPs are unavailable. Finally, IG get a tower, but it comes at the cost of 2, with LGD moving in for a potential 3rd. This is scary. You've got the Blink Echo to come out, the call down ready for Sylar's Gyrocopter. IG have just fully committed to the split push at this point. Every time they see LGD go to one lane, IG are already hoofing it to the other.
But LGD has not phased them whatsoever. Their movement around the map
bottom. Let's go.
Their movement around the map and their ability to take towers while defending their other lanes has just been on point so far. So it's not really caused them many problems. Maybe he's probably going to look to join up with his team after grabbing a rune, finds a S4 rune, and he'll be on his way bottom. This is a really... Like, Luo's probably thinking, like, I got this 9-minute Blink Dagger, but there's no kills on the map. This Bristleback's way too tanky. They're always grouped up in 4 or 5 manning, so as a whole, IG are just too weak, and this is with an Undying. You've got that like level 8 Undying with the max Tombstone, a couple of points in Decay, and you can't team fight with a great timing and exploit. This is worrisome for IG. They're not going to get any value out of this.
And you can see they just understand that they're no longer able to fight. They even go back for a Midas here on 430, a 16.5-minute Midas, quite late. Now, certainly Queen of Pain is level dependent. Getting the level 3 ultimate really amps up your game, but generally you get your levels by killing heroes, not by picking up a Midas, and it just shows that IG have completely given up on the early game fighting. They're going to be forced to sack a Roche, it looks like, as LGD moving the pit. 5 goose stacks about to come out here on the big boy, and this should be a freebie. No contest, even with Relocate, even with the blink on the Axe, goes back for the Vanguard now. And with an Aegis freshly claimed by LGD gods, maybe they just 5-man down mid and go for tier 2s.
Yeah. I think for 430, the Midas is a good pickup. It shows like good understanding of where this game is, because you can't fight at all. You can't really achieve much other than just split push and farm, and they're going to be limited on what farm they can get. So Midas just means you're making more out of the small limited amount of farm on the map. So it's going to be a good item choice, but it also just reflects the fact that IG are so far behind and so limited in their options that it's a desperation item.
Now the good news is LGD don't have the best catch. Their only catch is Earthshaker with a blink, and sure, he can catch you by surprise, but he's not that mobile around the map. This is not a Storm Spirit or a Bat Rider who can just quickly move from lane to lane, so maybe they can rat this one out. Might be what IG turn to, and with Tiny IO and the Aghanim Scepter now completed and coming out, the split push will ramp up rather substantially, and IG seems like they're committed to the game plan. Let's see if they can make it work.
IG are holding their own as far as overall farm goes. They're down by 2,000 net worth, but that's not insurmountable.
LGD have detection here. They throw everything at Luo, and with the Maledict, well, he sticks up, and he'll die anyway. Well, gives Burning a little space here, bottom. He's going to start clubbing the tower. That will force some LGD TPs in a hurry. They don't want to give up 3 towers. Burning's actually afraid of the TPs, but as soon as he sees 5 mid, he knows he has to put pressure on the lanes, forces out the Bristle. The rest of the gang still moving down mid, though LGD may try to 4+1 this and take the mid tower without the full team. Actually even rotating in Yao, who seems to want to cut these heroes off, but the Relocate comes on the top. You want to TP bottom? We're going to rat our way onto your tier 2. Meet the club. Burning starts beating away, and he will take the tier 2 first. Very nice movements by IG. Unable to fight, but making the correct responses happen in order to get something else for them.
This is going to be an interesting game, because IG are going to hold their own. They're going to split push. They're going to keep up in farm, but they're going to be probably sitting on 1 kill for the next 10 to 20 minutes. Maybe they're going to pick off here or there with like an Axe Queen of Pain combo, but I don't see them getting more than maybe 1 or 2 kills in the next 15 minutes, but that's not a problem for them. Ultimately, it's not going to be a game of kills for IG. It's going to be very much about the split push and just accelerating their Tiny into the late game. Luo's going to have a rough game. That's just the nature of how things progress here. He was thinking, okay, 9-minute Blink Dagger, time to snowball, get a lot of kills, and really take control. At this point, Luo's job is to create space. Him dying at that top rune there, creating some space for Tiny to force DPs, pressure bottom, and then ultimately get the tier 2 tower top with a Relocate. That was like an acceptable play for Luo. That's going to be what his role kind of turns into, is just get scouting information from my team and create space for Tiny in Queen of Pain.
Yeah,
he's the designated feeder.
That's a good way to put it. And it was funny because you could really see the game plan was to be more aggressive. He actually smoked himself about, I think it was 7 or 8 minutes ago. He moved all the way up through the Dire Ancient, scouted them. This was right after maybe it already cleared the stack, and then plants an Observer Ward down in the mid lane. It was a deep ward. That's the kind of ward you plant when you're really hoping to find pickoffs with Relocate, but they just didn't have the openings, and so he's made the adjustment. With a Blink Dagger already picked up, he's more mobile than the supports, and he does look to use it here for a bit of split push, but are they split pushing quickly enough? LGD already going straight down mid. We're only 20 minutes in. And they're looking for a lane of Brax. With Bristle back, this is a quick tower as well. The Warpath makes it nice and easy to bring these structures down. There's no glyph available. Gods, I don't know if they have a choice.
Lua needs to get back and just feed to delay them or something. Create space for Tiny and Wisp to split push top.
And Burning is certainly trying it right now. They call down on Chuan. Needs to at least get the tombstone out here if he can. He mechs, he sticks, he gets the tomb down, and Sylar's diving. He has the Aegis, but he may lose this quickly. Out comes the Queen of Pain. Everyone healed up. There's the Grave, and Burning's doing the split push work in the meanwhile. He does bring the tower low. In fact, finishes it off. Maybe force the TP out. They're going to buy back on the Axe here and try to hold the line. They've taken down the Aegis, and now Burning's relocated into the middle of the frame, but he's fighting against the Death Ward of Xiao Wei. The hill comes down. He doesn't have the firepower he needs, and now Chuan's got to run. His Maledict brings him lower and lower. Surrounded, Luo tries to force them back, and the first outer tower that falls here is the tier 3 top, with LGD completely rebuffed. 2 down, might be 4 if they're not careful, and Sylar's next. That's an Aegis down. Meet the club again, says Burning. IG running circles around LGD and completely outplaying them in that fight.
Absolutely. That was... I think LGD saw like the position of the creepway top was like, okay, we can reach the high ground before they get close to our tier 3 top, but Bristleback decent with the high ground sieging, but it's not quick by any means. Tiny though at the top lane, complete different story, and once maybe TPs, he can't prevent the relocate back. It quickly becomes a 5v4 at the IG base with no Bristleback. That Bristleback is such a key hero for that team fight. LGD just getting a bit overconfident, and they'd already lost the Gyrocopter Aegis very early on. I think Sylar getting a bit too aggressive in the base, especially when you know somebody's going to have to TP back to deal with the split push. In this case, the Bristleback. You can't be throwing away your Aegis in that 4v5 scenario.
Now Burning's got a double damage rune. This is not what you want, Gods. This will not be a tower. This will be Rex if they're not careful. This next minute or two. And I don't think we'll see LGD move out too much now. After the way that fight went and not having the Aegis, this is a Xiao Wei team. They don't like to go for objectives without getting their insurance policies in order. All the paperwork signed and the T's crossed, the I's dotted. They may have to slow the game down more than they would like, and that could well play into IG's hands with the Midas of 430 beginning to kick in. He's almost caught up to the Gyrocopter on LGD of Sylar, and at this rate, it feels more and more like IG have gotten control of the tempo of this game.
Absolutely. That was kind of a rare missed call from Xiao Wei, which really turned things around in IG's favor. Momentum favoring them, although LGD going to find a pick-off on Luo.
Like you said, designated feeder.
It lets you know, okay, they're grouping up mid, they're going for another push, let's split push quickly. Unfortunately for IO Tiny at the bot lane, but if they want, they can fight backdoor protection with a DD Tiny.
They may need to as well, because straight down mid, LGD comes, they almost have the glyph though.
They can get
on the radiant side
into the high ground and then they don't have
relocate.
to fight. Yeah, maybe that's
the play here for IG. They push through the last lane. There's a glyph coming online in about 15 seconds. This is something LGD may not be prepared for, and already they've gone onto the top lane. Burning going to work with his double damage room, but Faith being forced back quickly. They have to keep Burning alive through this. Need to tether him out or they're going to lose their most precious hero. They kind of want the Rax as well. It's almost dead. 20 HP. And now they're back towards bottom. Need to run from this lane as well because already LGD are rotating on IG. But it's going to be tough for LGD to stop this, Gods. They really don't have the best catch against a Tiny IO. If you don't have it, you're gonna have a hard time keeping them out of the base.
A bit unlucky for IG. They really thought they had that Rax. Burning played that very well, and even more so Faith. He broke the tether, which kind of slowed down the Raxing a bit, but he had to, otherwise the Bristleback takes him out, and then he comes back in for a retether right as the relocate ending to bring Burning out. Could have left Burning there and used Suicide Burning to get the Rax, but at this stage, I don't think IG need to make that play. I think they're very much in control with their split push, and just they're outmaneuvering LGD, so I think throwing away the Tiny just gives too much breathing room for LGD to make things happen, go for a potential Roshan, although Rosh isn't up, or just keep the lanes pushed out for a good while, and maybe even attempt the high ground. So I think throwing away Burning for that melee Rex not necessary, and they're going to look to just continue the game plan, because so far the game plan has been very good for them.
I like how well they've adjusted. I feel like for IG, a lot of the time, if the early game plan hasn't worked, this team kind of struggles to make adjustments, especially over the past few months. Most of the wins that I recall casting, they get ahead and they just kind of stomp from there. Now, they've had some scrappy close games, but having a game plan that was intended to dominate the lanes not work out that way, and then they recover, they rat it out, they remain composed against a Xiao 8-led team. That is a really positive sign for this squad, Gods. Now, they're not out of the woods just yet. They haven't actually gotten Rax, and the split push isn't really that favorable for them right now. Yeah, all the lanes pushing in.
They can't when LGD heroes are missing, I guess, is a big thing. But if LGD heroes are missing, they're not really pushing. And I don't see LGD able to go for a high ground push without the Aegis too successful. It's very risky for them. They have got the BKB on Sylar, but his damage output is not the most not the most potent right now without any kind of MKB or whatever kind of late game item he wants to go for. A butterfly. Maybe hasn't completed his Assault Crest, although he is getting a lot of farm at some more ancient stacks. This Bristleback is still looking very scary. But this is a hero who suffers for mobility and lockdown. You can see he can't deal with the split push at all.
That's why he got the blink. It's a blink back now.
Yeah, it's...
This seems entirely so that when he TPs in, he can just jump on the Wisp and start hitting the Wisp right away. Because we saw how quickly that Wisp can drop as 430's Queen of Pain narrowly dodging the Yao rotation into the tree's top. He will TP home and backs out. He's completed his Aghanim Scepter. He's closing in on level 16, and more than anything, this is just a great Rat Dota item, not only for pushing, but for clearing waves and stalling the enemy push.
Yep. Yeah, 430 can offer some split push himself, but also while the IO Tiny are going off, he can just spam it out to delay LGD, so very good game for the Aghanim Scepter, and this is going to be hard for LGD to close this one out. It's still very much in the balance. I mean, LGD, you get your Bristleback with an Assault Caress, you farm Boots of Travel, and suddenly you have a hero who can push out lanes and then TP in, go for that high ground push. If you've got an Aegis, if LGD ever get 5 heroes pushing high ground with Aegis and there's no counter push happening from IG are in trouble. And that at some point can well happen. If you get a Boots of Travel on even Gyrocopter as well at some point, you're going to have heroes who can push lanes out and maybe cause IG problems.
Yeah, and right now the lanes again are not that push, but Burning's going to have his Assault Caress. That Courier on the way now, the Faceless Rex moving in. And 430 applying additional pressure towards the top lane. LGD, it's their turn to respond. Start rotating back through their jungle. In the meanwhile, Luo moving around, kind of protecting this Wisp tiny duo.
Roshan coming back up any second now. Max respawn, which I don't think really matters for LGD. They weren't going to be... They've got a couple big items coming. They don't really want to rush the high ground push because they're still trying to figure out the answer for the split push. And they're not even going to go for Roshan immediately. So I think they want to make sure they kind of fine-tune exactly like what their approach is going to be to dealing with IG right now.
Yeah, you want to make sure the lanes are back and IG are starting to retreat before you go for this. No reason to let them get too much creep momentum or threaten for that top lane, because 430 already back at it again. The relocate could come into play here. It's available. Burning does have the completed Assault Caress. Now IG... destructive when it comes to hitting buildings at this point.
IG, no intent to contest Roshan. It doesn't bother them at all. I mean, it definitely can when the high ground push comes, but very much it's just something they've got to accept. They're going to have to defend high ground through split push and just delay tactics against an Aegis Gyrocopter.
I'm really impressed at how well Maybe has caught up. We saw the early Ancient stacking, but he continues to top the net worth chart, and
yeah, he hasn't fallen off whatsoever.
He's 20 CS down on a tiny IO. That is a sight to behold. Now, it really feels like Maybe is the true one position on this team, I have to say. Whether it was the Ember Spirit game the other day, just generally the level of support he's getting from the team, and the level of priority he gets with farm. Sylar, even if he's playing like the hero that looks like the hard carry, it feels more and more like Maybe is kind of like that old Arteezy role where, for EG, where he might go mid, but he's basically the carry for the team.
And he's still got Ancient stacks. This is like the 4th time I've seen him farming Ancient stacks. It's like it's just constant triple and quad stacks there waiting for them.
Lots of gold going his way.
So lanes right now not really pushed out too well for IG, but that's because there's just, again, too many heroes missing, especially the Earthshaker. That's the key hero to have in fog at all times if you're LGD. This is where deep warding or like smart wards in lanes in the jungle are going to be crucial for IG to kind of scout heroes out. And right now they're just not really getting the vision they need on the supports or on the Earthshaker.
IG have no idea. LGD are moving in.
Burning wants to push up bottom, but he hasn't caught
vision yet. And he needs to be. He needs to be, because LGD have 5 heroes coming down top.
It's very easy to see, like, why isn't he split pushing bottom lane? No one's there.
But vision.
Yeah, they'll see Sylar top now, but again, there's still 4 heroes missing. He still doesn't feel it's safe. He's thinking, like, is this bait? Now he sees Maybe as well, and he's thinking, okay, 2 supports and an Earthshaker, they can't kill.
Both teams have their glyph available. Both have cooled down.
Luo creep skipping top lane. This is just...
It might be too late, though. LGD are going to get to the high ground.
They're going to Sonic Wave this, and then there's no more creep wave for LGD.
LGD have other ideas. They jump up mid where the racks are exposed, and they start working on the range racks, trying to fight their way through. Actually, no backdoor protection. Creeps were just at the top tower, so I guess it kicked in at the wrong time. And in the meanwhile, there's been a rotation onto the top lane. Burning trying to go on the melee racks, which are healed up to full HP. Remember, this was 10 health earlier. Face destroyed by the Death Ward. Burning quickly being dealt with by the dunk. The Maledict he'll fall as well. LGD are able to defend, and they push back IG. Even the gyrocopter of Sylar gets away, and they get the ranged Drax. And now they come down mid. There will be no relocate for this fight. That's the opening they needed. Gods, you go back to that last push. Maybe they should have committed the tiny. It's hindsight being 2020. If they had a melee Rex down top lane the whole game, the lanes would have been pushing their way a whole lot more. But
LG were just so ready for it.
It hurts them.
And LGD didn't overcommit for the rack, so they were still in a position where they could TP out without getting caught. Only the axe can stop those TPs with Blink Bolt, so it's just not enough.
430 narrowly avoiding that fissure, but Luo does take the brunt of it as Chuan tries to hold. Tombstone will come down soon. Good. I guess in the end, a good fissure for IG. It keeps maybe up the racks for a little bit longer, but now he starts to do his work. Looking beefy as all hell, healed up by his teammates, even through the battle hunger. He's hardly been tickled by all this damage, and they'll lose now the full complement of mid-raxes as LGD rotate onto the top lane. Still no backdoor protection as creeps have pushed through the mid lane fully, and LGD looking for the 2 lanes of Rex. IG forced to fight. This is really not what the game plan turned into, but they've got no choice. All the lanes are out. It's going to be LGD's fight to lose at this point. Chuan does a tombstone, they go into the blink call, it's on to Sylar. He's your Aegis carrier, a decent Queen of Pain ult, but not amazing. And the Death Ward from Xiaowei, magnificent, forcing everybody on IG back. The tombstone dealt with, Sylar surviving through it all. They finally managed to crack that Aegis down, but oh, I don't know if it's enough, guys. Maybe they clean him up on the second round. BKB comes out, and he looks to counter-initiate, all going to work with the Rocket Barrage, hammering into Luo. Nearly finish him off, maybe tanking everything. He'll get clubbed down at long glass, but the damage has been done. A tier 3 down, a full lane of Rex. IG need more kills, and they should get at least one more here from MMY. The cast bouncing through a bit, but Burning able to run past it. Looking for additionals. No! TP out! He's gonna survive! That's not what IG need! They gotta find more! Xiaowei the gem carrier, that would be something. That would be something. Oh, he's left in the trees. It's rather visible. And will be picked up. Oh, had my gem.
He survived.
Had my gem, but leave me alone. Burning says no. Relocate. They'll get him maybe anyways. They're tethered back. Fate didn't bring anybody. And in fact, this cask is going to potentially stop the kill from happening. They're still diving on Xiaowei. I don't know if Burning's got this one. And they're coming in with reinforcements. Gyrocopter about to ride. Burning left on an island. He goes to work with the club, but again the grave. And Burning's committed in deep for this. Burning may end up dying. He's got no backup from the Wisp. Burning, no. LGD get a freebie.
Xiaowei, the most convincing actor of them all there. He just like reeled him in bit by bit from the gem drop. You know, I think he actually just juked them, but then when he dropped the gem, IG's like, oh, he thought he was dead. Like they suddenly like think in their minds like, okay, he dropped the gem because he's trying to hide it from us, which means he's nearby and he ran north. They didn't know where he went until they found the gem. So it actually worked against him initially, but then he kept on chasing. That sequence of events was crazy. Xiaowei, I don't know. That was something special. I don't think it was the plan, but definitely not the script that the director wrote.
If you ask the director 8 fans, they would definitely say the script was written and it was all according to the plan, but they may be a little bit biased. Oh, jeez. Now LGD look for 2 lanes of Rex. Again, now that they've got the mid lane under control, all the lanes will push out, and IG, that top lane is just going to haunt them how close they really were to having the melee Rex advantage early in this game, but they never got it, and LGD now take 2 full lanes. The favorites coming in, looking like they may jump out to a quick 1-0 lead here.
Yeah, all it took was one mistake there, that one relocate top, which LGD were ready for, and part of it is, the second the relocate was going, TPs were being cast, and you're committed. You've cast the relocate at that point, and LGD are there because of that kind of delayed relocate time. They're just there, ready and waiting, so not even close to making that play work. It wasn't like they were going for a Rax and it got brought down to like 20 HP. Like the first time they did it, it got down to 20 HP and they didn't even put themselves in danger. This time around they did 0 damage to the Rax, and put themselves in huge danger. I feel like they almost needed like a second hero to be able to cancel TPs. The problem is the 3 heroes defending, the Queen of Pain, the Undying, and the Axe. Only a Blink Call can stop TPs. Maybe even something like a Yule Scepter on Queen of Pain would have been good here just to cancel TPs. Has a Hex now, but this is a really big, expensive item that took him a long time to plant. Something cheap, cost-effective that can cancel TPs maybe would have complemented IG strat really well.
IG's last chance here. No, LGD went away. Roshan could be coming relatively soon. This is the Shao Age strat. Why risk it at this point? You're up 2 full lanes of Rax. Many a team has fallen prey to the idea that you can outbase race a tiny IO. And even when you've got this kind of lead, you can be thwarted if you're not careful. They're going to play it safe. Tiny IO no longer showing on the map, and oh yeah, that's an illusion. Just no biggie.
Yeah, it kind of goes with the safe play. If it's a kill, great. If it's not, well, we go back to defending and waiting for the Roshan respawn, so...
they fell for it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Not really going to matter. If they really need the Echo, if they're worried about it, they can just play it safe.
They're not going to go for that last line of Rax until they've got Echo Slam and probably even another Aegis. Maybe even consider like get the boots to travel up on maybe so we can push these lanes a bit better. He's pretty much maxed out to some extent. I mean, he's still holding onto a Vanguard and the Blink Dagger, but he wants to keep the Blink Dagger and the Vanguard an item he'll probably eventually...
I really like the Blink Dagger here. It's very unconventional, but like the Ember Spirit Blink the other day, it just opens up a new way to play the Bristleback, and I think very much the same, even more so perhaps for Ember in the game yesterday. In this case, it really neuters the Wisp. You can't just kite Bristle anymore. He just goes on you and you die.
Yep.
Basically at the end of story.
Just one of those items like melee carries who can dish out a huge amount of damage can benefit so much. It's an instant gap closer. Yeah, Bristleback's pretty speedy, especially with the SMY and the Warpath stacks, but the instant blink is just something Wisp can't really deal with.
Oh, big move here by LGD. It's smoked up and charging in, head full of steam. Dylar leading the way, Yao close behind him. MMY, now the front man. They wrap back, maybe hoping for somebody to be ganking, maybe, but not the case in the end.
Maybe it was like searching all the little nooks and crannies in the trees to the north, just trying to see if anyone was hiding, ready to split push. Because last time they went for that push, the Axe was like waiting in the trees, blink past, and did some creep skipping, which caused LGD some problems.
You can see right now that IG are itemizing and just gearing up for one last attempt at the base, and they could try for a throne here, gods. It's a long shot, there's a glyph. LGD will undoubtedly try to TP back, but they do have the Hex now that you brought up. There is still the blink call to maybe cancel 2 TPs if you're lucky. And you're going for what looks to be a Moon Shards on Burning. This is just pure right-click, auto-attack as quickly as possible. Try to muscle down structures build up from Burning.
He hits incredibly fast without the tether overcharge even, so...
Yeah, when you give that to him, he's going to be close to the attack speed max.
Yeah, this is pre-Moonshard, and there we go. Roshan respawns for LGD. MMY was just on scouting duties, and...
They might actually... if there's the glyph, though, and with that, LGD are safe, but forcing out the glyph now is important for IG. If they can force out a glyph, that opens up plays later, but they're afraid to go in. They don't know
they've got
much
the high
about
ground
LGD's
ward,
movements.
But yeah, they've got this high ground wall, which will be really important for them later on when they do want to split push or just go for that relocate play, but... And Zhao has... someone had a gem. Dazzle had a gem, but he hasn't actually... I mean, he's got to get back there to defend. Dazzle's not going to be spending time in base unless they go for that backdoor play.
It's going to be tough to cancel TPs now. Just look at how many Blink Daggers and Force Staffs are starting to pile up in LGD. Triple Blink. Got an additional Force Staff as well. The Radiant Courier does get sniped in the river. Only carrying a smoke, but... Still an unfortunate Courier loss.
And
now LGD want to rush.
Yeah,
the lanes
they've pushed out top, so they're in a good position. Should be a free Roshan. IG have a couple nearby. I mean, if they go for this play, it's just because they feel like they're so far behind. It's the only thing they can do. But yeah, they're gonna push out mid, push out top, and give away another Roshan.
430 would like to open up the map a little bit. He has a double damage rune as well, so maybe we see 430 making his own move, but he gets used by Yao and may get caught. There's the Echo, the follow Maldic coming through, and then the Death Ward committed. 430's Rat was denied. And Burning and Faith see the dead Queen of Pain and think twice about pushing the top lane on their own.
Yeah, it's a hard thing for 430 there. He wants to split push, he knows they're roshing, but that's just great play from LGD. They say, we can take Roche just with the gyro and the bristleback. Let's go pick him off while we Roche. And bo2 is just like, well, you've got to make those kind of risky plays when you're this far back and try and create some chaos around the map, but it doesn't work out there.
Yeah, if you just sit back, you lose by default. You risk or you get nothing.
Yeah, that was kind of what happened in Game 2 against Fnatic yesterday. They just sat back for 20, 30 minutes on the high ground, giving Fnatic room to do absolutely everything. And that's a game where you look at it, it's like, what was this, like, the strategy, or what was our way back in that game? And it definitely wasn't just sitting on our high ground and doing nothing. So this time around, it's good to see IG at least looking to be active on the map and make things happen.
Buyback from 430. Radiant Glyph is available here, but so too will be the Dire Glyph, and maybe has already made short work of the tier 3 tower. It seems they're holding it for the throne. This is going to just come down to raw damage output from the IG side, but for LGD, they're not going to let this go freely. I imagine we see the blinks out and the TP's back any second now. Can these be cancelled? No, doesn't look like it. Burning, just committing for the melee racks. They do have to relocate out. Xiaowei glimmering and trying to find Faith, and he managed to do it with the deathboard, but Faith countering with his own Ghost Scepter. Only keeps him alive for now, not long enough. Burning left to his own devices, does TP out, but it's a single melee racks, and they forfeited Mega Creeps. Not the trade IG wanted. Nice play by the director, glimmering and just finding the Wisp on the low ground as a result. He just knows exactly what to do. It's not about the Tiny, it's about the IO. Gets him out of the picture, and with that,
even with a relocate out, it was still going to be Mega Creeps is the other thing. So for IG,
like you said, they have to be able to cancel more TPs, and they bought back on 430. I'm not even sure if he was in position to cancel one, and with so many blinks on LGD, they can almost always get out of initiation range before they TP home.
Yeah, I mean, blinks, glimmers, whatever it may be. And if you're blinking to cancel TP, you're feeding away your life. So you cancel like 1 or 2 TPs, but you're going to die for it. You're going to get Mega Creeps, you're going to lose your base, and theoretically, someone else is TPing back. If you cancel the first TP or 2, LGD's like, okay, this is a problem, maybe you're just going to have to TP back. They don't want to TP back the Bristle and the Gyrocopter because they're the ones taking the racks and pushing the base, but if they have to, they will.
Here comes the death push now. Sylar completed Satanic, Butterfly as well. He's more farmed than the enemy Tiny. LGD looking ever so beefy. Now the tombstones drop, and the fight commences. Call down coming through, hits on 2. It's to slow down Burning. Who initiated, but it's on to maybe one of the tankiest heroes in the game, who's man-fighting Burning and winning that man-fight with the support of Sylar as well as Xiaowei's death, or they bring him down with these. And IG, they're finished, cooked, and out of game 1. They call it. Burning disconnecting without even saying a word. And IG gonna drop yet another game here at the International 5. They've had a tough opening couple of matches playing arguably the 2 strongest teams in Group A, Secret and now LGD, but gods, they at least need the second game. They cannot afford to get 2-0'd in 2 of their 3 opening matches.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the Chinese team showing up to TI5 have really delivered and performed. We've seen LGD undefeated so far, CDEC do really